Project 3, these are the components we're going to use. This device is our single pole switch, and then this is a split receptacle. On a split receptacle, the difference is, remember we talked about this tab that bonds these two? Well, on the hot side, we break that tab. So now this is isolated from this. So what we're going to do with this project, we're going to put the single pole switch up here, and we're going to put the split receptacle down here. And this single pole switch in is going to control that. So we're going to start up here. So we're going to take our grounds. Remember, all of our devices have to be grounded. And remember how we get the length of our wire? This is really important. I want you to take them like this so that they're all the same length and cut. And this is our ground now. So we're going to strip this, strip here, strip here. We're going to take a grounding pigtail, strip here. Then we're going to take our, line up the insulation. Remember we talked about this on every project we do. We want to line the insulation up. You're going to take your linements and you're going to twist in the same direction as you tighten your screws, righty-tighty. Make a nice tight loop. Take your linements and cut. And put your wire on. Tighten as tight as you can get it. And then tuck it to the back of the box. Always after you make a joint, tighten it. Tight as you can get it. Then we got our hot wire. We've got to cut this hot wire, and we have to put a pigtail on it because we want half of that receptacle hot all the time. We want the other half controlled by the switch. So we got to put a pigtail on this so that we can energize the switch and also get our hot wire down to that receptacle. So I'm just going to take this, line up the insulation, and twist. Righty-tighty. Make a nice joint, line up with your linements. Cut that in, and put your wire down. Tighten that as tight as you can get it. Tuck it into the box. Now, this wire is your hot, your ground, and this red wire is your switch leg. So you notice I didn't cut any wires for length here. I'm going to take them like this, and now I'm going to cut them all at one time. So that they're all the same length. All the wires that connect to that device should be the same length. And then strip. Strip. And strip. And take your linements, make that terminal loop. I always connect my ground wires first. Remember, green is your ground. So, and always have that loop go in the same direction as you tighten that screw. And tighten it down. Now, on this side, it doesn't matter which one of these is your hot and which one's your switch leg, because all this does is open and close the circuit. So, and make sure this wire is nice and neat down here. And tighten it down tight. Take your switch leg. And put your switch leg on. Again, whether it's top or bottom, doesn't matter. All we're doing is opening and closing the circuit. What is important when you're using a single pole switch, remember a single pole is an off-on switch. On has to be up. If you turn it over, it'll say no. And then leave it like that. And then we're down to the receptacle down here. Now down here, we've already got our ground pigtails on. Now we need to take, instead of our white, we have to put pigtails back on again. Take my white. Line the insulation up. And tighten it down. Just like we did in project 1. When we put that first receptacle in. And then I want to tuck this back into the box. Then I take my hot, again I need a hot pigtail. Line up the insulation. Line the insulation up. And twist. I always pull back with my linements so I get a nice joint. And cut. And tighten down. Now, these wires all connect to my device, so I want them just like that. And then put your thumb there. And cut. Take your wire strippers, strip off your insulation. Make your terminal loops. And then when I put my device on, again, I always start with my ground. So, and again, on the neutral side, that tab's in place, so it doesn't make any difference when you put your neutral, whether you put it on the top or the bottom, because they're bonded. What does matter is on the hot side now, that tab is broke. There's nothing in the code that says which one has to be hot all the time. I prefer that the bottom is hot all the time. But again, there's nothing in the code that tells you it has to be that way. Everybody's got their own preference. Every electrician may do it differently. And then the top will be your switch leg. Just like that. And tighten it down tight. And when you're done, just take these, put it together, and set it like that.